And today I am so grateful to bring my friend Carol Wilson with me today. She is a former student of Manifesting with Synchronicity. If you saw the video with Lori Egner last week, we talked a little bit about it as well, and we're going to have the same questions today. But as you know, every single person that goes through a different course, you could have the same course and 20 people, and you have 20 different courses, right? So yeah, super excited to hear your answers to these questions, Carol. If you're just tuning in to this whole concept of manifesting with synchronicity, this course is something that I have taught since 2013. It is based on the book, The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield, which we all read in the 90s, right? And the book came back around to me in 2012 and with his fourth book in the series called The 12th Insight. And so developed a class using some of his help and some of my own stuff. And that class is a now 6-unit, 9-insight class. And it's delivered through my platform on Thinkific. If you're familiar with taking classes online, you maybe have taken one on Thinkific, like Kajabi or any of the other ones. And that we're launching that right now. We're in the phase of marketing it, and we're launching it for an April 1st kickstart. And so I'm just interviewing some of my old students that took it last year through COVID. So Carol, the first question is, when did you take Manifesting with Synchronicity? And when you signed up for it, what were you hoping to achieve?
All right. So hi, everyone. So glad to be here and share my perspective with you all. I took Manifesting with Synchronicity last April, I believe it started. So beginning of the pandemic, and got furloughed from work and was like, all right, like, what else do I have going on? This was a perfect time to delve into something that I could give some really great attention to at the time, but anytime is a good time. So you don't have to be in COVID. So just know that. I was hoping to increase my awareness and to know what my I know what my perspective on life and manifesting, or being aware of the synchronicities that happen in our life, but I wanted to take it to the next level and bring in a deeper awareness that I hadn't experienced yet. And randomly, 3 years before, at least 3 years, maybe longer, had watched a random movie that was based on the Celestine Prophecy, and it was super cool. And I was like, oh yeah, like I want to read these books, and just never got around to it. So it was perfect timing and divine synchronicity with how it all played out.
Yeah. And you're right. A lot of the time it's like we need that accountability. We need a group or, a class or something to help us go through something together, like to really focus on it. And I always say it's like a book club on steroids. We're all reading, that book again together, but, really chunking down each concept and using those concepts as tools. And that's one thing I really love about the Celestine Prophecy. Everyone's watched The Secret, but then you're like, now what? Right?
Totally. How do I apply this to my life? And Andy, what it really takes it from the intellectual to the applied. And that's what this course does. You get to understand it intellectually on a deeper level, but then you learn how to apply it in everyday life in multiple areas of your life, because it is so multifaceted, and how you can use the education that you receive in this program. So really great point.
So talking about those tools, what were a couple of takeaways or tools that you feel like you gained from Manifesting with Synchronicity and are still maybe incorporating today? What was the most helpful for you?
Sure. Well, first off, every insight I read, I was like, could totally relate to it, of course. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know. Okay, I've already been doing this, or I haven't been doing that, or I used to do it. And having different awareness around that, like the exchange of energy, and being more aware of that in everyday life. One of my favorite ones, though, was I think it's Insight 4, which was the competing energy, right? Between the what do you, control dramas.
Yep.
That was really fascinating to me. And my awareness around that has really shifted, and the understanding of how we have these power struggles and how we don't have to get sucked into the drama of other people's, struggle for power and however that manifests. But I was seeing it play out in my life and was like, oh, okay, I don't have to accept that invitation into that drama space. And how can I grow through that and become a better version of myself? So I use that one a lot. The other one I think that I have used a lot is the awareness around the food that I bring in my body, living food versus dead food, and the energy of the plants. I remember, we give and we take, right? So there's a couple layers in there, of things that kind of meld together in that space. But we traveled cross country, and it was after I took the course, or maybe we weren't even through it all the way. And we stopped at the Frank Lloyd Wright Falling Water property. And that place was so alive and so serene and peaceful. And we sat there for a while, in front of the house, through the waterfall and the trees. And we were in this one spot by ourselves for quite a while. And the exchange of energy of like us giving to the surrounding flora, fauna, if you will, and then how it would give back, and how you could see and feel and experience it energetically, which is like really amazing. I'm definitely using that in my life pretty regularly. And then recognizing synchronicities and not dismissing them, and knowing lately I've been really experiencing that in my
Okay.
yeah, it's a little noisy. I'm at my sister-in-law's house, and there's kids.
Yeah.
And so really recognizing it in my work life and the new opportunities that have presented themselves with my life's purpose, which is amazing. And finally not falling into that space, but seeing the pathway open up, as well as my relationships in positive and negative spaces. And it's okay. And being able to navigate that with ease and not get caught up in my own drama of what it means or doesn't mean, and just being able to wait patiently and allow the synchronicities to lay out the path like it talks in the book. And it might not be, I might not recognize it as a shining light described in the book, but when you look at the way things are being highlighted in your life, it does cast a light on certain areas. So those are probably my top three.
Yeah, awesome. I think what's cool is that kind of led us into the next question, which is, what does it help you manifest? And it's I see your business because I know you so well and I work, so closely with you, how that has helped you, that awareness has helped you manifest a different life. And so, now 12 months later, do you feel like that awareness has helped you create or manifest, whether it's material or physical or emotional or spiritual change and transformation in your life?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I, over the last year, have risen to a whole new level of my awareness, my experiences, the ability to step out in faith to make a decision, to not work for myself in a traditional space, so that I could make room for the opportunities that are going to unfold. I literally quit a job, and within 48 hours, I got my first client, as I'm a certified health and wellness coach. And so moving more into that life coaching position or career. And, my first client basically was like, I want you as my life coach. I need you as my coach, business and life. And it just it opened up that space, and it's great. It's great. And I'm seeing that in some relationships as well, with, family and those dynamics, and raising my awareness around what my greatest strengths are, and which can become my weaknesses as well, right? For a lot of us, if we don't understand them, and manage them, and more managing it in our mind,
Right.
um, and creating more of a protection for myself and getting better at boundaries.
Awesome. 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 Um, And I love hearing, so I want to back up too a little bit since those two kind of segued together. I thought just fire that second question at you, but back to the whole energy and seeing the energy in the falling water property. And I remember that we were both just like a light, right? Like tingling, feeling the energy, loving like the space and the water and the colors and all of that. And then so that's a very base foundation that we develop in this class, is that awareness around nature and how nature, when we connect to that energy of nature, how it uplifts us. But then you also talked about faith, and I didn't have this question listed in the list for you, but I know you're comfortable talking about it, is how someone who does have a strong religious faith come to something like this and reconcile the two together. Because this leads me into the next question of what kind of person would you recommend manifesting with synchronicity with or to, and what would you tell them, right? But how I feel like how your perspective from a Christian faith base
Mhm.
can still apply to this discussion,
Yeah.
right? And energy.
Yeah. And I thank you for asking that question, because I didn't want to go, not off script, but like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to interject something that you may or may not have wanted me to speak on. So, for me, having an awareness, like the aspect that we talk about with the different insights, I definitely feel like they are divine insights that, where, James Redfield received this information from, for me, it's God, anyone else, whatever the universe, it may be to someone else, universal love, God. I'm, non-denominational Christian, raised in that faith my whole life. So I have a relationship with God, with Jesus, with the Holy Spirit. And so for me, I believe that the books have some divine inspiration behind them, and knowing how they can play out in our lives through God, you can pretty much find the same ideals and values within the Bible as well. And so, I'm not replacing one with another. I'm expanding on my wisdom and knowledge of my Christian faith, and knowing that there are other ways to look at the divine intervention and the supernatural things that we experience in life, and being open to that, and knowing that there is nothing that is not safe and sacred in that space at all.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thank you for that. And I love that word supernatural, because it is a universal word, right, that we use. And coming back to love and universal love, and also agape. We talk about agape
Mhm.
in the later insights, and that is a word from the Bible.
Yep.
And so I think that's super cool. That parallel is super cool. So anything else that you had thought of, or again, what, how would you recommend this class to somebody?
One, it is super fun because you're doing it with other people that offer different perspectives, and helps you to understand and relate to individuals who have different perspectives, because that creates some better compassion, love, understanding for all of us on any walk of life we need to be able to be open to other people's points of views and opinions, right? In order to create, love and energy amongst all of humanity. And this does, like, this time and era that we're in right now, where there's a lot of animosity and a lot of discord, we need this more than ever to really understand how to love mankind, and incorporate whatever our background is with some new perspective. And I would recommend anyone who's looking to grow, anyone who's looking to up level themselves in their personal life and experiences in every facet, relationship, career, relating to your children, whatever it might be.
Right.
And to just know that, like, this will take you on a great journey that really is going to up level you. It's applicable life skills on every level, and generally be able to relate to people one-on-one and on a broader spectrum with more love and compassion. I mean, it really comes back down to that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Carol. Yeah.
Of course.
Thanks for your time today. So if you're watching and you're still here with us at the end of this, thank you for watching. Thank you, Carol, for your time today. I did put the link to the manifesting webinar, which is kind of a summary. It gives you 3 tips, 3 tools for manifesting that come right from the Celestine prophecy and this course. Energy, clearing the past, and then kind of locking in the future. And we talk about all sorts of things. We talk about seeing the energy and all that, like Carol had mentioned when we were in Falling Water. So sign up for that webinar. That webinar is linked here in the description of this video for you. And then that'll kickstart that journey for you. You'll get the video and get some more messaging around this course, but it does start April 1st. The pre-sale is $489, which is rock bottom, I think, for all of the content that you get. After April 1st, it goes up to $669. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Miss Carol. I love you.
Love you.
So it was really cool hearing your perspective, girl. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me too. Andy Kennedy at Inner Self Lightworks. Love you guys.
Bye, y'all.